So blueturtlecrafts commented on one of my videos and asked, what pattern is the quilt behind you? This is a quilt I designed myself. It's a Lone Star. This is a Lone Star quilt block. It's a 6-point star. Usually you'll see them and they have 8 points, but this is 6 points. And I do want to develop a pattern. It's kind of in the early stages right now, but I do want to share this quilt, and I'll edit in a photo of the full quilt since a lot of my furniture is covering it. But I want to share this with you because a lot of people really are drawn to the colors, and I thought I could do a video on how I pick the colors and the fabrics, because this is my fabric stash here, and it's really mostly secondhand fabrics. I like to not spend too much money on designer fabrics, and if that's you, all the power to you. I just personally love the artistic aspect of taking something old or something that was just leftover pieces of something else and combining those and creating something totally new and visually appealing. I'm a very scrappy quilter in that sense. And that's what brings us to the quilt here and the color process that I want to share, because I have created some ugly quilts in the past when I was first learning how to combine color. So I nailed down a process for how I'm picking my colors, and I want to share that. This is the color wheel that I use. I think it's from Dritz. That's a Sewing Notions brand. It's this wheel, and it kind of has this thing in the middle that spins independently. I don't really use that too much because I mainly go for opposite colors. So I'm going to use this star as the example just because it's my favorite, and a lot of people say it's their favorite. I got some little scraps, the tiny little scraps that I have just a little bit left. So I started with this kind of a neon coral, and I had this piece of fabric, and I thought it's really gonna pop. I don't know the brand. I'm sorry, I don't know the brand of most of my fabrics, but I thought this will really pop. So what can I combine with this fabric? And I went and got my color wheel, and I found this color here, and I felt it matches mostly to this. And I do like this color wheel because it has the different shades of the color, and then this cutout here. So I found it on the color wheel here, and I just go right across to the opposite color, which is teal. And then I found some teals, and I wanted something, because this is such a bright neon color, it's very vibrant. So for the teals, I'm gonna go with something more maybe darker, and then also a pastel, because I want contrast in my star. The first thing I did was I picked this fabric. It's teal. It's more of it's one of those darker kind of teals. You hold them up together, and I just love that combination. And then I picked a pastel here so that I could get some contrast, and I went with this one. And then finally I needed one more color here, so I didn't want to do another teal, so then I went with a darker, more muddied version of this coral. So then I picked this piece of fabric, which is perfect for this. And that's how I wound up with this combination. And for each of these combinations, I kind of laid them out. I took the picture on my phone, and then I put the black and white filter on it, and that'll show you the contrast to make sure you have good contrast in your fabrics, because even though they're different colors, they can sometimes read as the same darkness, and then they kind of blend together. So I'll show you that. So that's pretty much how I picked a lot of the color combinations on this quilt. So even though there's a ton of different fabrics and colors, they're all harmonious. The other good example of the opposite color thing here is this one. So I started with this purple shade right there, and opposite of purple is yellow. And so I have yellow here, and then this kind of color there, it looks like brown, but when you kind of darken yellow, it becomes a muddier version, and it becomes like that brown color. And then this one, I had this fabric and it looked like it would fit here, so I kind of just went with that. But I just want to cover that since in the meantime, since I don't have a pattern for this quilt, but that's kind of my process.